Let's consider together this short passage, little spoken and perceived by most, that is in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 15, verse 15. Mark 15, 15. It says, "So Pilate, wanting to gratify the crowd, released Barabbas to them, and he delivered Jesus after he had scourged him to be crucified." The focus here is precisely on this attitude of Pilate. As we know, Pilate was a Roman governor who lived in the times of Jesus in the area of Galilee that included Jerusalem. He was a man of Rome in Jerusalem. That is why when the religious ones arrested Jesus, Jesus was judged in the tribunal of the religious ones, the Pharisees and Sadducees, the Sanhedrin, the Supreme Court of the religious ones per se, a ridiculous court, and also so that he may be executed, the religious ones took him to the governor of Judea, Pilate, so that by the hands of Rome, so that the religious ones could say, it wasn't us who killed him, right? Then they surrendered Jesus and incited the crowd to shout so that Pilate would crucify him. It is in this context that this word says, "So Pilate, wanting to gratify the crowd, released Barabbas to them," because there was a habit in the days of Easter to release a Jewish prisoner, and that would please the people. So he released Barabbas and commanded Jesus to be scourged and crucified. So our focus here is precisely on this human characteristic. This is so human as the air we breathe, the hands, the touch, the feet that walk, and the blood that courses through our vein. This characteristic of wanting to please the crowd. Pilate knew that there was nothing that could condemn Jesus. There was nothing. There was no evidence or law that was broken. There was nothing. Then he could have acquitted Jesus and returned him to the Jews. But what did speak louder? He wanted to please the crowd, attached to his role as the governor of Judea. Certainly he thought like this: I must calm down this tumult, this crowd, because if the news arrive in Rome, the things here in Jerusalem are tumultuous, so it will be my head that will roll. So I would rather send this Jew. So wanting to please the crowd, he gave the order to crucify Jesus. See that what the devil used to exercise, to practice that injustice, was a desire to self-preserve or to hold yourself to a role, a position, and at the same time a desire to please the crowd and become popular, to have good eyes towards you. You may say, Pilate was a coward, and this and that, but Pilate represents all of us. And don't be so quick to throw a stone at him, because he represents the human being in their most basic characteristic. What he did was not something new. Since the days of the Tower of Babel, there in Genesis, in the beginning of humankind, since the days of the Tower of Babel, and even before, humans always wanted to be exalted, recognized, to have a name for themselves. As the builders of the Tower of Babel would say, let's make a name for ourselves. You see that this happens until today. Countries dispute who will build the tallest building. Am I right? Did something change? Did something change? In thousands of years, did humans change? The difference is that today we don't have one Tower of Babel. There are many towers of Babel, including in Brazil. Yes or no? In Balneário Camboriú, we have a huge, tall building, one of the tallest in the world. Whether in New York, Dubai, London, there's always someone trying to build a taller building. What for? To make a name for themselves, to make history, to be glorified and recognized. And someone says, I went to the tallest building. I went to the top. I went to the tallest building, and they take a picture, yes or no? So let's not be so quick to judge Pilate, because this characteristic is in human beings. Since the Tower of Babel, throughout millennia, centuries, we can go through the Colosseum in Rome, the streets that are until today there. You can imagine the glory that it was for someone to perform in the Colosseum, the emperors, the governors, the elite of society, with the shouts, with that celebration, the passion, the games, whether the Colosseums of life or the stages of today, where human idols sing and charm crowds, whether in stadiums where players celebrate and run to the crowd, open their arms, remove the shirt and show the ripped body and asking for the glory and puffing up their chest and saying, I won, I'm the guy. Whether on screens of social media with many followers, many likes, and all the people sucking up to them, let me tell you something, humans haven't changed. There will always be a crowd ready to be pleased, and there will always be someone wanting audience. It doesn't change. Human beings are the same. It is this futile, vain, proud, full of themselves being who don't learn that the glory belongs to only one. They don't learn. Throughout history, millennia and centuries, it doesn't matter how many fall and rise, how many are exalted and later humiliated, how many appear and others who disappear. Throughout history, human beings keep seeking for glory to themselves, trying to please the crowd. And this is not about artists, only about the idols of this world. This is about me, you, because you only need to change the proportion. Perhaps you don't have millions of followers on your social media. You don't have a multitude who fill up a stadium to watch you, to listen to you. You don't have this. But in a smaller proportion, You want your friends. You want to be the popular in the group. You want to be the one who is recognized, admired, the one who people suck up to you. You want more of this or that. Maybe you don't have some kind of quality, but you have another, and you want people to recognize you for it. This is us. And like this, humans stumble on their own vanity. What is the antidote? What should we do about it? First thing, we must recognize that in us, within us, in the stage of our heart, there is an ego wanting attention, wanting glory. You must recognize that your ego wants glory, patting on its back. Your ego wants recognition and admiration. You must recognize this, and you must understand that this is a danger and a risk for you to fall. First thing. Second thing, what should we do with this inclination? You must do what John the Baptist did. John the Baptist said, what matters is that he may increase and I may decrease. Some will come to John the Baptist, are you the Christ, the Messiah? And he would say, no, I am not. And he would point to Jesus. John the Baptist would point to Jesus. He who was considered the greatest of all prophets, more than Moses, more than Elijah, more than all prophets who came before and after him. But John the Baptist, though being the greatest, he would point to someone greater than him. Jesus Christ, it is him who you must listen and follow. He didn't point to himself. He didn't take the glory to himself. He was very satisfied to diminish himself and to exalt Jesus, because this is security to us. Humans don't know how to deal with glory. Hardly you will find someone who is glorified and exalted in this world and is not taken by their vanity or some human stupidity. So all honor, glory, and recognition should be only to him and no one else. Protect yourself from this. Be careful with what you do seeking for glory, what you do to please the crowd, because perhaps you will not be better than Pilate. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.